IELTS writing is the most important thing when it comes to expressing yourself. As you know that there are only four language skills, and writing and speaking are the both output language skills, while reading and listening are the input language skills. So today we are going to discuss how to write well IELTS Task 1 and Task 2 of writing test. The first thing we have to keep in our mind that the task should be fulfilled. It means the first point is task fulfillment. You have to read the topic well before you start. To do with you start writing straight away and you think that time is not enough and I have to finish writing quick as I can. No, that's not the right way to do things. You have to do some paperwork or the homework first. The first is task fulfillment. Excuse me. So you have to read the task few times. I should say you have to spend few minutes on the task. Task 1 is always easy to understand because they always mention the points you have to cover in the writing task 1. And if you read couple of times, it will be easy to understand. It will be easy for you to understand that what you have to write. So in other words, you have to think that yes, I have to make my mind before I write. And then you start writing. All writings have three parts. I have told you this before, that it's introduction, description and conclusion, but when it comes to the writing task 1, you have the introduction, you have the description, the only thing you have to write is the conclusion. Actually the conclusion is there as well, because you know what you have to write. But the point is how to sequence those points and how to write down. When I say you have the introduction there, it means if you read introduction or the title of the task properly, then what you need to do is just rephrase it. I describe a little bit the introduction, the topic in the introduction is mean its introduction. It's so easy. And then the description, you have to cover all the 2 or 3 points which they have mentioned in the case of general and in the case of even academics IELTS. What you need to do is you have to write down the points they ask you to cover in that particular task 1. In general, they normally give you 3 points. In academics, you have to describe any table, graph, chart, or in other words, any map into your own words, into the text. So task 1, and you have to finish in 150 words. But the point is, you have to follow the limitations or the restrictions. Why they have given you 150 words in task 1 and why they have given you the 250 words in task 2? Because they want to check, can you summarize? Can you write down on the particular topics in a given requirement and the given limitation of the words? Because if you write 10 or 15 words extra, it's fine. It's ignorable. But if they ask you to finish in 150 words and you finish in 200 words, so that's not the good thing for you. It will not give you any positive. It's negative for you. Your examiner will have that kind of thoughts in his mind or her mind that person can't tell his or her thoughts to swiftly. So you have to finish in the required words, whatever they mentioned, 150 and 250. And in 250 words, you can finish. You can go up to 265 words. You don't need to go more than 265. It's again not the positive sign for you. The second thing, you have to think about the topic, and then you have to make points. Whatever you think about those points, you have to write it down separately. Anywhere, wherever you have, whatever facilities you have in the examination room. If you're doing paper test, write out on the paper. You know you have to use the lead pencil, and you have to erase it later on. And in the computer, if you're doing the computer part, the test on computer, then definitely you can write out there as well. Write down your points, then sequence it. Don't start writing when you finish your points. Because introduction, let me repeat it again, it's important. You have to write the same introduction, whatever the topic is, just rephrase it. That's your introduction. Okay? And in the description part, you have to think about points you have to cover in that particular writing task 1 or 2. What you need to do is, excuse me, I'm not well probably today. And the part, in the description part, what you need to do is you have to think about the points which you have to cover in that particular part which I told you, the description. Then you have to sequence them. The sequence is important. That's the important part of writing as well, because they will check. And then in the conclusion, you have to summarize your description. That is your conclusion of the third part. Another thing which you have to keep in your mind is that what examiner will check. The examiner will check few things. The first thing they will check that how good your English is. Grammatically. How about the sentence making? And second thing they will check is their task fulfillment there. Did you fulfill the task? Did you write what exactly they want you to write? That's why it is important. The third point is about your points, about the sequence, and the last thing, it's about the logic. Is there any logic in your writing? These points your examiner will check.